So now the Yang Gang has to feel the burn of Scotch. Not Bernie Sanders burn, a real burn. Down the esophagus.
Yeah.
Amsterdam.
Ooh,
Ooh, you
smells
went
so
to
good.
Amsterdam.
Yes, we
You
did.
went
All
to
right,
the
so
red light district.
We did.
we're about to have some single malt here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Single malt
Yeah.
Scotch. All right, so yeah, this one is good to have shots. This is for humanity. Humanity and the future of the American spirit.
Yeah.
We'll have the
Okay.
spirit right here.
Thank
So
you.
please, everybody, take
Yeah.
take
You
and
take this
partake.
one.
Oh, this is
You
kind
take
of
this one.
big.
Yeah, if you want.
All right, Kanbei.
Let's switch.
Kanbei.
Kanbei for humanity.
Kanbei.
so humanity first.
For humanity, always.
Yes. Life,
Kanbei.
liberty, and the pursuit of
Whichever
happiness.
order.
Kanbei.
We won't have it first. We'll have some other candidate that looks like.
It's pretty good.
So tell me how you feel right now.
Well, I think like most supporters of Andrew Yang and the movement he was trying to bring, we're all a little bit, shall we say, depressed, maybe not the happiest. But again, if we look at this as a movement and not just an election, we have a lot to be positive about. You got the country talking about an idea that basically we haven't been talking about for a long time. So it's new to most Americans. As they say, the Overton window on it, universal basic income has been shifted. People have talked about it. People have gotten engaged in politics, like an old saying from, I believe it was Ralph Nader. He said, if you don't turn on to politics, politics will turn on to you. So that is a good thing to see people getting involved, people who didn't participate in politics before, people who wrote off taking part in politics. So it's a good thing. That part is all good. As far as the future, we're still waiting to hear what Andrew Yang wants to do. We're looking forward to find out. We're told 2 to 6 weeks, so hopefully we'll hear something. But looking back, we're a little bummed out, but we'll get over it. We'll find something, a way to serve humanity above all, because that's what we're all about. So, but when we look back at this, again, we can always point fingers. We can always say everything is clear when you look back at it. Like the old expression, every hindsight is always clear, or hindsight is always 20/20. But I think when we look back at this, we will ask questions. What could we have done differently? And in all honesty, when you're new to something, there's no way to know. So people who second guess now, did we make a mistake in Iowa? Did we make a mistake in New Hampshire? Should we have done this and that? We shouldn't even think that way. Based on what we knew, we did the best that we could. If we came a little short, we came a little short. If we gave up too soon, we gave up too soon. But the point is, if people are talking about UBI and it's a relevant issue, we can build on something.
Talking about what the next steps are for the Yang campaign, because nobody wants to stop being in the Yang Gang and yanging and doing all the things that we did before, because we've all become friends. We all love working together, and this is like such a great thing that we don't want to let it go. But we're not sure about what the next steps are yet. Because if he suspended his campaign, then does that mean he's not going to take his name off the ballot and we can still vote for him? Is my name going to appear next to his as a delegate or not? I don't know. So if it is, I'll take a picture of it or something. but yeah, and then we want to support all the people who are running on a UBI platform as for Congress in districts, let's see, 10, 13, 15, and I guess 16 also. So we want to support them, keep the movement going, and over time, people will start to understand more what he's about and what he's talking about, and we'll have a better and better chance of making the changes that we want to see. Right there.
Thank you. Thank you. Bravo. And Lilian, you were the champion of very beginning of this whole movement, and thank you so much for teaching us how to harass people on the phone and everything.
You do so well without
And you
me.
work so hard to
It's
collect.
so funny when I hear people say that because yeah, it's funny because I'm not political. I've not been very political, but somehow I don't know. I and like so many other people believed very strongly. Everything clicked for me as soon as he explained things, and it was like a framework that I'd never seen before, and seemed to just address everything that I needed to see addressed. And it's not because I'm Asian. Talked about that too. So yeah.
Thank you so much.
I would like to just say, like, Yang is hitting something that a lot of the candidates, they don't see, either because of their age or they've just been out of touch with reality, with what's happening on the ground. That they're not seeing the fundamental change in our economy and what Yang is actually talking about. You know, like, yeah, automation, the automation wave is not going to come down the pipeline for another, let's say, 5-10 years. But when it does, it's going to affect a great number of jobs at a very fast pace. And a lot of Americans doesn't seem to be prepared, as we see now with the current state of the election, right? There's a candidate out there that has been proposing such a fundamental idea, but Americans, again, are not awake enough to understand what he's trying to bring to the field. They're still kind of stuck in this two-party duopoly and you lose, I lose, you lose type of situation. Not realizing that at the end, we're all losing. I think we've all put in enough, a lot of effort as a Yang Gang. Like,
Right.
Going around New York, and when a lot of people approach me and ask, like, oh, are you getting paid for this? I tell them no, and they're like, they look at you like, you're not getting paid to do this? No, because I believe in a message, and I think that message is more fundamental than getting paid to represent a campaign. His message is a lot more powerful than, I mean, I was a Bernie supporter in 2016, and Yang's message is a lot more powerful than that.
Being part of the campaign in that, volunteer capacity, it made me appreciate just how hard running for president is. Before I kind of dismissed it. I was like, that's, anyone can do that shit. You just gotta have money, blah blah blah. I had no idea the amount of passion and frankly just grit and perseverance not just the candidate has to have, but their staff and also just their supporters. And especially when you are an underdog candidate, having to navigate all of the ups and downs of the media cycle, because they're really trying to gaslight you and trying to make you feel that everything you're doing is for naught. It's extremely a new experience for me, because previously disengaged or just anti-engaged, do you know what I mean? I'm like, yo, I want all of this shit just to burn down. I would love for that to happen. Yang's campaign absolutely transformed me, and I was like, actually, I think there's a better way because of what the campaign did. I think the past couple of days I was just reflecting on Yang Gang in general and how cool it is to be part of a like a hashtag, a movement that has so many wonderful and diverse different types of people in it. I'm so lucky that my wife's Yang Gang, you know, and like we can commiserate and like bond on it. But also the fact that like people like Dave Chappelle have like openly endorsed Andrew Yang, and like the message, it makes me feel connected to like these people that have given me a lot in terms of you know, comedy or music. You know, Daniel Negreanu is Yang Gang, and that guy, I used to watch him in college, like, because he's a dope ass like poker player, and the fact that he's hosting these events for Yang, I'm like, damn, we're on like the same wavelength, you know. And it makes me more, it's making me kind of like reconsider like all my old experiences and like recontextualizing them, because it seems like this message is just hitting a certain nerve with a certain type of like layer in our society that I hope we can grow. I hope like we have the as you know, as I mentioned, like perseverance and grit, so that we can push UBI to be instituted as soon as possible in America and hopefully like worldwide. But like, let's just start with America first, because I think if America can lead on this, you know, the rest will hopefully follow. Because, you know, today we were even talking upstate with some of our friends, and it seems like a lot of people can use UBI, not because it's not about the money, right? It's just about the foundation. It's about the effects that's going to have on all of our health, because like a rising tide lifts all boats. So yeah, thank the Yang Gang, goddammit, and like thank you Andrew Yang and all the campaign for what it's enabled me to like find this new drive to be more engaged in the society in general, rather than becoming like just super insular and like focusing on like what I have to do, because now I have a reason to like be engaged with like the electoral political system, as fucked up as it is, right? Like we all know like this shit is fucking rigged, and fuck you people to judge. Okay, I'm not trying to be negative, but we all have like a goal like that I think has been mapped out for us, even though the map is very, very low resolution. But right now we're on the path, and like I'm really grateful for the Yang Gang, and again everyone I'm meeting like every day that identify with this movement. So grateful for all the ex-Trump supporters, all the libertarians, all the Democrats, all the progressives, everybody. There's no labels. This is like a new freaking label, because like we want to solve the problems, and I love people who want to solve problems, because like then we can start talking about real shit, you know. So yeah, salute.
Honestly, it's been kind of like a hard week. I mean, just hearing the news just was totally shocking to hear that he dropped. It's been such a, you know, inspiring campaign with this like huge momentum forward, and you know, you just like meet so many people through it, and you just like feel this energy as part of this movement, and just like all of a sudden, you know, for it to be done or to be told that it's, you know, suspended, you know, it's just quite shocking. But seeing kind of the reaction online, and then even, you know, here we're sitting with a bunch of people who were, you know, so inspired by the movement, and like meeting after Yang suspends his campaign, you know, it's very clear that it's not over. And for me, like, this is the first political campaign that I've ever been a part of, or that's ever inspired me to become, you know, interested in politics. Just coming from like a disengaged left, like far left, just, you know, the government shouldn't be trusted, or, you know, like the whole system's rigged. And here we are, like, yeah, I kind of feel that again. You know, like you watch the media and you don't see Yang anywhere, and you're like, what the hell? He's doing better than half of the people that they're showing on here. So, you know, that kind of stuff, it really sucks, you know, when you just feel so passionately about what this person believes in. So, yeah, I don't think it's over, and I think there's, you know, still a lot of momentum going forward. So it's still inspiring. And, you know, even this past weekend, we were talking to, Bernie supporters, and, I think Yang's ideas are definitely resonating, and, this just kind of gives us more time to spread the word. So feeling optimistic. Yeah, so thank you so much. Thank you for hosting, and yeah, this is not the end.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming.
Well, I gotta say, it's been quite a past year and a half or so. I told Ching, but I actually got into Yang pretty early on in like April of 2018. I saw a little Facebook ad that said Andrew Yang for president, and I said, this looks really curious. Asian guy running for president, and of course, that just took me down a rabbit hole to where I am now, and probably will in some ways never get out of, but that's a good thing. UBI for artists. So none of the other candidates really talk about the importance of arts and culture in America, and of course, me being a musician, a professional musician, I find this very, very concerning. Of course, as Ching, our field as classical musicians, we have this kind of mindset of scarcity because many orchestras are running out of funds. A lot of music education funding is dropping. Even when you're applying for grants, it feels like sometimes like artistic welfare, because you're applying for these things. The amounts are so little. There's so much means testing, and you have to go through this process, and the amounts are not enough. So like I think about how UBI can transform artists, and there's going to be so many people. If we have the freedom dividend, there'll be an arts renaissance in America. Like, so many people who want to become artists will finally be able to do so, and they don't have to work a job just to survive, but they'll actually find meaning in their lives, and it's going to be so transformative. We'll live in a culture where people who want to contribute artistically can do so.
That way the burn is smoother. So tell us, Ching, how do you feel having gone through this campaign?
I feel like a fucking crap. I had no idea this whole thing is coming up. I was so stupid. I didn't see it. It's almost like somebody died, in your family, right? Somebody died. So you go through grievancy. You go through unbelievable. It's like this is not happening. It's like this is a mistake. And then you accept the reality, and then you grieve, and then you go all over again. So there's many cycles of things. So, but it's okay. It's okay, because I think what I really gained from the whole movement was I know so many Yang Gang people who I would never know before. I would never have known them if not this movement, right? So it broadened my whole horizon of my whole sort of a humanity, how I accept people, how I acknowledge other human beings, and also I was not very political person before, but now I am aware of this movement, yeah? And so I never donated money to anybody politically, and I never really, I went to, Women's March, stuff like that, So now this brings me to a different level of awareness, and also being with Yang Gang, the energy from people, yeah, from many different different directions, whether they're artists, whether they're conductors, whether they are entrepreneurs, whether they're business owners, whether they're students, whether they're like people pursuing in the middle of after their college work. It doesn't really matter, so it brings us together. And so I think when Andrew Yang suspended his campaign, it's not the end of the movement, right? We are still together. We will carry on his messages. we will, the UBI, message is worth carrying on, and then we will, definitely working towards that direction for people to be aware of that. Yeah. So that's where I am. And also for me, I think my position is slightly different from many people, is because I'm kind of like a photo and video journalist of the whole thing, right? So I document so many things. So I made over 100 videos out of the last 7 months. Yeah. So those videos, and I still have like so many footage I haven't really shared with other people. So what I would like to do is to make a feature documentary of Yang Gang. It's not Andrew Yang inspires me, but Yang Gang inspires me more, actually, in many ways, because I am with them more. So it is the people who work with me, every day in Iowa or in New Hampshire or in New York City or in Connecticut. Those are the heroes on the ground that I want to portray them.
Yeah.
And we think about it, like Andrew Yang, yes, he dropped out of the race, right?
Yeah.
But it's not him
Exactly.
that we're really standing behind. This is his message.
Right.
And like I tell a lot of people, right? I'm young, only 23, but it's a message that I've been thinking about every day in my sleep, right? I grew up living in a shelter, so I grew up living in a system in New York,
Right.
and it's the first time I heard any politician, even from my mayor to governor, whatever, nobody's ever spoken to me like Yang has.
But the truth is, UBI is good for everybody. Even those who chose not to vote for Yang because they thought, well, I don't care for a UBI because I've got it all set. I've got money. I own assets. I own everything. But the reality is, even if you're that type of person, in the blink of an eye, you can lose it, particularly if it's asset wealth. That's one thing. The other thing is this. You're thinking of passing that wealth along to your kids. Well, bear in mind, it gets divided. And then there's a whole profession of lawyers who will take a cut. So, if you decided not to vote for UBI or Andrew Yang for that reason, because you thought I've got it made, well, I'm going to tell you. Just give me a sec right here. I'm going to tell you. You might have done your grandkids or your great-grandkids a disservice, because that wealth might be wiped out when it's time for them to get it. So, you basically opted out of a premium-free insurance against unemployment for them. So if you ever have a second chance, think about it. Think about it real deep. Think about it real deep. You would want them to have a UBI versus a jobs program or anything that's been proposed. And that's it. Everyone could have benefited from it. Artists, people with low incomes, unemployed people, homeless people, and even you, the rich people. So anyway, 4 years, think about it. We're not going anywhere. We're coming back. We're coming at you. And 4 years from now, we will remind you of this moment. All right, cheers.
Cheers.
God bless America.
Thank you, Peter.